Viewer discretion advised.
Good morning, everyone. How are we doing today? I'm Steve Stockton. Welcome to the Morning Horde Rush. You're on Stereo Dread, powered by Dezombified. Magical Monday here. We made it through the weekend. How's everybody doing today? Let's see who we've got in the chat. Got Narrate Madsen. I hope I'm saying your name right. Ben Sheba. Don Sharp. Super Queen Dragon Kelchner, good morning. Looks like Timey was here earlier, but I believe she's already left the building. Dezombified in the chat there. And also in the chat is Mia Mina. And just so you know, she's going to be the guest today. She probably needs no introduction. She's one of our awesome moderators here on the Horde Rush. And Dezombified in general. Pumpkin Queen, hello, good to see you. Miscast Entertainment, hey, thanks for stopping in. Just getting started here. Everybody's just in time. Gonna go ahead here in just a moment and bring my guest in. Like I said, she needs no introduction. If you're a regular here, you know who she is. But in her own words, she says, I'm not a bottle you can label. I'm complex and eclectic. I'm a puzzle piece missing a puzzle. I'm the peg that doesn't fit ever. And here she is, Miss Mia Mina. Come on in, Mia.
Hi.
I surprised you, that little introduction there. I stole that off your blog, but I thought it was particularly fitting. That way, if that's the way you describe yourself, then that's probably the most accurate representation that we're going to get. How are you today?
I'm doing good. Hi, Elquinjena. She came over from my EQ2 group to listen to us today.
Good deal. Stormy Cats. How's weather today for everybody? Here in Portland, it's cold and rainy. Mr. Mulder is unhappy. He didn't want to get off the porch today. Nerdy Blurb TV, good to see you in the crowd. Yeah, he has a little sweater on, and he's just standing there like, he took a couple of steps off and did his business. He's like, okay, I'm going back in. And let's see. Oh boy, I'm going to have fun with this name. Elquinjena Silverwing. I'm sorry if I butchered that.
It's Elquinjena.
Okay, there we go. Mia Mina knows who she's talking about there.
Yeah.
So what's going on in your part of the world? You're down in the Gulf Coast area. Is it cold and rainy there?
It's about 90 degrees outside. It may be a little warmer now. And it's very humid. They said we might have showers this afternoon. Hey, Stormy. Stormy's from the...
Don't miss that weather down south.
the amino group that I'm in, that I posted about Dezombified.
Good deal.
So,
I'm glad to
yeah.
have some people here from I'm on there. I'm not really active. I go in and check in every day, and that's about the extent of it. Occasionally, I'll post something in the paranormal group, but I like to go in there and read.
Well,
So,
I gave you a call out in there, and when I put the thing up for Dezombified, I hope you don't mind.
oh no, saw that shout out there. That was awesome. Zombified, thanks you for shouting them out too. Amino, I think it's kind of an untapped resource at this point. A lot of people are using it, but not everybody knows about it. So
Mm-hmm.
good to get the word out and use it to spread the word about other things that are going on.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, it's humid here. It's a little over 90 degrees, and that's just the temperature. Um, our air conditioner is running. Nerdy Blurt's from Utah. Cool. Where in Utah? Oh, you're on Amino, Pumpkin?
Glad to have some
Oh
Utah
no,
folks in the house. Uh-oh. Nightbot is already slapping people around in the chat
Nightbot,
there.
behave. It's like, Nightbot, you're drunk. Go
The other
home.
night you couldn't get it to work, and now it won't stop.
Sorry about that, Storm.
Nightbot has run amok. Flee for your lives. We'll get Nightbot on it. I've always wanted to say that. Run for your lives.
Provo.
Provo, Utah. Beautiful, beautiful
That's
part
a
of the
beautiful
state.
area.
I lived in Vegas. I used to venture over into Utah as often as possible. Got Zion National Forest over there. A lot of beautiful areas.
I saw pictures when my dad went over there. He used to travel a lot as an accountant, and he was a corporate accountant. And he went to several places in Utah. Actually, he went all over the country, and he would bring back pictures everywhere. It was awesome.
Pumpkin Queen says she's a mod on the Mr. Creepypasta Amino. So.
Oh, cool. I'm in there.
Yeah, I'm a member of that one. I didn't notice that she was a mod. Again, I need to be more active in there.
I need to get you into the Paranormal on YouTube group. I'm a mod there.
Is that the one you shouted?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, I am on that one. Again, I haven't done a lot. I don't think I've posted anything in that group, but I am in there. I'm kind of in lurk mode for the most part, but I plan to become more active there.
The Strangest is very, very active. If you've ever seen their posts, they post a lot of stories about what they're putting out for their videos, and they also post little blurbs about different places that they're going to.
Yeah, Nerdy Blurb said live in Provo area, but it was raised in Tennessee, which I believe 13 is from. Yeah, that is all true. Grew up in the East Tennessee area, Knoxville, Oak Ridge. Been out here on the West Coast about 15 years now. Miss the Tennessee hills, especially this time of year with all the fall colors and going into the Smokies and everything. I need to go back and visit more often. Miscast Entertainment says he's in South Florida, 1,000,000 degrees down there.
South Florida, West Palm Beach or further south? Or Fort Lauderdale.
Says the iguanas are taking over like a plague.
Yeah.
I spent about 3 years in Florida, and the thing I hated was those palmetto bugs. Oh, imagine a roach bug, if you've never had the pleasure. It's a roach bug about 3 inches long that can fly. And they're not the smartest thing. Instead of flying away from you, they will fly at you and fly into you. Don't miss the palmetto bugs. Pumpkin Queen is asking me, if you could link that Amino. The one you're mentioning there, the paranormal on YouTube.
Let me see if I can, because I'm actually in the on my computer, and as you know, Amino doesn't like computers.
Okay, we're gonna get that done behind the scenes. Nerdy
Yummy.
Blurb says he needs to go back to Tennessee too. What part of Tennessee are you from, Nerdy Blurb?
Ah,
And saw Don Sharp in the audience earlier, and I
yeah,
think
I
he's
saw him
from
there.
Tennessee as well. And then Sean G chasing the truth. He's another amazing Tennessean. I really enjoyed when Dezombified had him on the main show a week or so ago. He just had lots and lots of
Yeah,
stories. They actually brought me on, let me chat with him for
I
a little
heard
bit.
that.
We were swapping stories back and forth. We could have done that for hours. And in fact, I think we're going to do that sometime.
And we could have sat here and listened to it for hours because it was that entertaining. It was just amazing.
Yeah, Nerdy Blurb says he's from Tullahoma. I know where that is. Good to have you with us.
Ah, trying to grab the link.
It's out. That's Middle Tennessee. I think that's Coffee, maybe Franklin County is kind of in the middle there, I believe. That's pretty part of the state out there once you cross the Cumberland Plateau and get over into those areas.
I would love to go to France, my heart. I've always wanted I've always wanted to go to France, Margaret. And my husband doesn't want to go to France.
She's in France right now. Well, bonjour.
There's
Good,
the link.
good deal. And I know that Pumpkin Queen just got back from France. She's in the Netherlands, but she just spent 3 weeks in the south of France and had nothing but good things to say about it, and put some amazing pictures up on her Discord.
Yeah. Seriously. Oh wow.
90
Really?
miles away. Doing some FEMA drone work. That's amazing, Miscast.
Yeah, the Bahamas were completely decimated doing some work for FEMA drone work this week. I would love to see some of that that drone footage because that's always amazing. But I just I like watching the drone work.
And
People do.
Elquingino says she's in Washington State, and
Yes,
I'm
she is.
not too far away from there. I'm in Portland, just across the river from Vancouver, Washington. And I don't know if it affected you or not there. We had some tornado warnings in Hillsboro, which is like a suburb of Portland yesterday. And then I think Vancouver actually had a tornado touchdown. So with the rainy season and the fall weather here, we also get the occasional twister in this part of the country.
Yeah, you know, they're not as prevalent up there, but they do happen. I read a book about the hurricane in Florida at an amusement park, and it turned into a Lord of the Flies situation fast. Oh, that's horrible.
Wow. Miscast Entertainment says the Bahamas are so bad and the storms are getting so strong, some of the islands are considering not even rebuilding.
I saw video of cars, SUVs that were covered in water up to just below the top. It was really, really, it's sad because you know there's people in that car.
Wow. I saw some of the footage people were recording with their cell phones. One lady was up in the attic and the water was way up the walls in the living room. And I just, I hope for the best of that situation, but it didn't look good. And then she stopped broadcasting as soon as her phone ran out. So hopefully she found a way to get out and get up on the roof rather than be trapped in the attic by all that water.
I'll have to look for that book, Nerdy Blurb. And Elquin says that they had 2 to 3 hour thunderstorms over the weekend.
Wow.
Yeah, the weather's kind of weird right now.
Yeah, crazy weather going on, crazy weather patterns, and the Amazon's on fire and the ice caps. There was a fire, I think, somewhere in the Arctic, the Antarctic, that normally doesn't burn, or you wouldn't think of it burning. So Lots of strange things going on.
Yeah. Swamp Dweller had that fundraiser for the Amazon, and saw he got some flack back on actually doing that, and I'm just like, why would anybody not want to stop that fire?
Seriously.
I mean, he got more than he was asking for. He was asking for 1,000. He got, like, I think it was 1,300 or 1,600. So he got more, but that's our community. That's this horror community that we've got here with all the paranormal and the supernatural and the horror, quote unquote, freaks. We care about the world.
Absolutely. And trees, we kind of need trees because they
Yeah.
give off oxygen, which we happen to breathe. So, Carol, out of the comfort zone, welcome and good morning. Says she's just stopping by to say hello. Well, hello to you. Stick around for a while if you can.
Mother Nature and Father are having technical difficulties. I like that Shiva. Oh my goodness. That was a good one.
Nerdy Blurb saying anybody in the chat here that has a YouTube channel that makes content, he'd love to check it out. He loves supporting people. Let him know. So
he's subscribed to me.
I think he's subscribed to me as well. So see if we can find you some more. I know Miss Cast Entertainment has a channel. Pumpkin Queen has a channel. And my guest, Mia Mina, is about to get her channel fired up. What's going on with your channel there, Mia?
Well, I put 3 channel trailers up because I was trying to see which one sounded better. And I've got the next video, which is going to be me reading a poem that I wrote. The video is ready to go up, but I'm trying to get everything that goes up with the video because it's more than just the video that goes up. It's got other things that go up with it, like the description and everything like that. So I've got to get that ready to go before I can put it up. And I wanted to have it up before this, but it's going to be this afternoon more than likely.
Okay, we'll look forward to that. Be sure to let us
Chatter.
know. Bad Chatter, welcome.
And please, if anybody listens, please go ahead and give me criticisms and things like that because I need that.
And also, in case you didn't know, Mia has got a wonderful blog. I'm going to go ahead and pop the link into the chat right there. She is a very, very talented author. Let me tell you, I spent a good part of the evening yesterday reading some of her blog posts there. It's incredible. You are a master of dialogue. And she's also takes part in a lot of different writers' workshops and writers' groups and things. There's just some amazing stuff on there. And one little exercise there, they had limited themselves to the length of a tweet to tell a story. And I've done some of that microfiction before. The writers group I was in, we had a limit of 100 words, but you're doing what, 248?
280 characters.
280 characters. Now that takes talent, where you can, as my professors used to say, omit needless words and tell a story with that few characters. That's just amazing.
We had one challenge where we had to tell a story in one sentence. And that one was challenging because it was just wow. This October, we're going to be coming out with lots of Halloween content. Oh boy.
Can't wait for that. Nerdy Blurb TV. I've got some things coming up for Halloween too. And don't forget, this Friday is Friday the 13th. I'm going to have a special stream on superstitions. So we want to tune in to that.
The 13th has always been, and this is weird. Friday the 13th has always been a good day for me. I don't know why.
Same here. 13, my favorite number, as you can see there. It's always been a lucky number for me. And not just 13, but multiples of 13. 26, 39, 31, which is 13 backwards. It's just, I'm not really into numerology and all that, but I do pay attention to certain things. I see 11 all the time on the clock. But yeah, 13's always been a good number for me, and Friday the 13th in particular has always been a lucky day. So
Yeah, my dad was born on October 13th, so her Red's birthday is
she's
Halloween
a Halloween
too.
birthday. My birthday's Halloween.
My husband's
Mia was
birthday.
telling me in the pre-show, yeah, that her husband's birthday is Halloween. Love to see all you Scorpio babies here.
Yeah, I'm not a Scorpio baby though. I'm a Libra.
Mad Chatter says he's stoked for Halloween. Going to figure out what he's going to do. Hope to see something special from him. He has some great entertainment. Nerdy Blurb. There's another one for you to check out.
Nerdy Blurb. Nightbot, behave. You have to let it go. Miss Cass said, 18 years. Yeah, that's great, Banshee.
Married on Friday the 13th. There you go. It was a lucky day for Bathsheba and her significant other, certainly.
I'm going to have to check out Maharat's live streams because I don't speak French, but maybe YouTube can translate for me.
Yeah, see Nightbot's popping up a link there to the Teespring store. Now that's good. You can do that, Nightbot. Just don't
try to
Miss Cat said Nightbot's feeling frisky. It's his first full day on the job. He or she, I'm not sure which. I kind of think it's a he, maybe, but in the chat slapping people around. So we'll get used to him, and he'll get used to us.
Yeah.
Be some tweaks there to follow, but that is something nice that Dezombified has done to take a little bit of the pressure off of the mods there. We have some amazing mods, Mia Mina among them.
Wow, 6 languages.
6 languages. That's impressive.
I would love to be able to find that.
3 languages, you're trilingual. 2 languages, you're bilingual. 1 language, you're an American. So that's...
I don't speak it very well anymore, but I used to speak German and Spanish as well as English. So
yeah, it's one of those things that truly, if you don't use it, you lose it. I used to be fluent in Spanish, and now I can order a beer and ask where the bathroom is, and that's about it. I know just enough to start a fight.
I had 3 poems that were published in Spanish.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. That's something I've always wanted to do, is translate my books into other languages, but it's...
Be safe, Pumpkin Queen.
It's expensive. Oh, we gotta go. Pumpkin Queen, thanks for stopping by. See you later. Look forward to the next video in your Dream Reapers series, which is amazing. If you haven't checked out her channel, go check that out.
We really have really wonderful narrators that we have in our community. We've got some great video makers in our community, and not just doing narration, doing movie reviews, doing book reviews, doing paranormal investigations, checking out the history. I love Panic D because you get all that history.
Oh yeah,
all that history.
Amazing videos. I love they go into the details about those places you may have heard of but not know the full story.
Yeah, if you haven't seen their Abraham Lincoln, the funeral train series, that just gives you chills.
Yeah, and that's one of my favorite stories that's been cited, where it's rolling by silently and there'll be a coffin on an empty car and skeletons and all. It's like, wow.
I didn't know that Mary Todd Lincoln did not go on that, actually. And I didn't know that until I was watching it with them.
Nerdy Blurb said he's about to hit 700 subscribers there. Good deal. Glad to see you hit that milestone. Moving on up there, Nerdy Blurb. Glad that we could all be a part of it.
That's wonderful. And, Panic D does that. The Haunted Side does that. The Strangers does a little bit of it. They're not as much into the history, but they do it. They did the USS. I want to say Williamson, but I don't think that's right. One out on the coast of North Carolina that's now a museum. And they did it with Michael Scott and I can't remember her name. But it was really good. It was interesting to see the ship. You got to go through different areas of the ship, like the engine room and the barber shop and places that we wouldn't be on a naval vessel like that.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm a
Fascinating
history
stuff.
buff.
Good deal. All right, since
I
she's
used to
using
do
her
that.
dictionary to speak to us, that's pretty amazing to translate on the fly like that.
I used to do that. Except I was translating French.
So
I had a friend of mine convinced I spoke French, and I'm like, no, I'm using a dictionary.
she's the evil twin. Her brother Marius is a private investigator in Japan.
Oh, wow.
And I believe, aren't you a tattooist as well, Merritt? I think I saw you post something about that one time.
That would be cool. I can't do tattoos.
I would be so scared.
I can't do
And
tattoos.
putting something basically permanent on somebody else's skin, no, I don't think I could do that.
My needle phobia is so bad. My husband got a tattoo. They did it here in the house. They were in the kitchen. I was back here in the bedroom on the opposite side of the house. And had a pillow over my head, so I couldn't hear anything because I was already freaking out.
Yeah, we talked about that in the pre-show. Our shared phobia of needles. I don't have a problem like getting my blood drawn or getting a shot or whatever. It's other people's needles that I don't want anything to do with. And unfortunately, there are places here in Portland and some other major cities out here like San Francisco and Seattle where those needles litter the street. And I'm always very, very careful where I walk. I would hate to get stuck with a needle.
Oh,
I would
yeah.
lose my mind.
That would be horrible. It's the needle for me. It's really the needle. The girl that does my the woman that does my blood drawing at the neurologist every time I go, she's the same one. She knows exactly what my issues are, and she's really good at helping me through it.
Nerdy Blurb says house tattoo stories don't ever end well. Yeah, I've known a few kitchen scratchers in my day, as they call them, and yeah, you forego some of the things like the sanitation and stuff that you get, I think, in a regulated tattoo shop. But I've heard of some that came out great, and then I've heard of some where people got horrible infections and all
The guy
kinds
that
of
was
nasty
doing it was a
complications.
professional.
Yeah, just
And it came out wonderful. He's got this beautiful scorpion on his shoulder. But it just happened to be they were doing it in our kitchen instead of doing it in the shop. Hi, Steven.
Ghost Tech in the house.
Ghost Tech is Steven.
Yeah, he's the guy that runs the Paranormal on YouTube Amino. Is that correct?
Yes.
Good deal. Spoke with him briefly. He welcomed me to the Amino when I first signed up there. Everybody, if you're not on Amino, get the app and go check out Paranormal on YouTube. It's an excellent channel. It's very diverse. There's a little bit of everything in there.
It's basically Dezombified on Amino.
Yep, I second that.
They do a little bit of narration. We've got Midnightner, and I can't remember his site's full name, but it's Midnightner. and he's got paranormal investigators. I'm in there. He's got a little bit of everything. I mean, everything from this community, and that's why I said it's basically Dezombified on Amino and vice versa. That's what it is. It's trying to bring everybody together, and
Right on.
we need to be a huge community. We do. We really do. There's a link to, I think I got it in there. There it is. That's the link to the paranormal on YouTube.
All right, good deal. Thank you for putting that in there. Everybody
I
go and
beat
check
you,
that out.
Steven. I got it in there first.
Like you can do it on the computer, but I found it's just a much better experience on a smartphone.
I haven't been able to do it on my computer. I have to do it on my phone.
Yeah, I was pretty limiting, I think, as to what you could do on the computer, and it's set up that way by design. It's
Nightbot, you're drunk.
Nightbot is picking on Miscast Entertainment there. He's got your number today, Miscast. All right, we're going to take a little...
Picking up on, I don't know what he's picking up on.
Yeah.
He's just saying hello.
Yeah,
Nightbot is drunk. Go home, Nightbot.
Nightbot drank his breakfast. It's the daytime. He doesn't know how to behave.
Yes,
all right. We're gonna.
Everybody would watch your video.
We're gonna take a little break here and give you all time to get up and shake your zombie booties for the Z Horde anthem.
Yeah, got to get up and dance, people.
Shake it like a Polaroid picture. Everybody, get up, move around a little bit.
Oh. Hi, Alexa.
Alexa
Hi,
Cabrera.
Alexa.
Hello. Nice to see you
She's
here.
another one from Paranormal on YouTube.
Good deal. You had a lot of folks.
All right. I'm so sorry.
Ghost Tex Amino on here. Good deal.
I'm so sorry for that. Well, that's one of the reasons why I put that post up, because I think you guys can work together. I think it's a good thing.
Absolutely.
So everybody get up out of your chair and let's dance around the room to the Z Horde.
And then when we come back from the Z Horde anthem, I'm going to have some weird news items for you.
Ooh.
Okay, everybody, go ahead.
Everybody.
This one goes out to all you Dezomba friends, the Z Horde. We want you to know just how much we love you.
Shout out to Ophelia Noctis, creepy clown girl, dark carnival got this. A local nightmare, it's so amazing. Puerto Rican Jose's entertaining. Dark waters, dog man is twisted. Asia 1994, really gifted. Dustin Fleming's stronger than the rock. Hellfire's out here making everything hot. Yeah, Braden 23 of fire's a G. We're kryptonites down, kid, he's family. Now there are times when we all need gore. Danny Martian's in the house, never know what's in store. Mandy Mortem is legit and a queen. Gothic Rose enchanting, she's on the scene. 13 past midnight, things that go bump in the night. Gory B, horror addicts are out of sight. Big ups to the late horror show. Emily's Adventures in Horrorland, here we go. And you know we gotta keep them dice rolling. MD Who Entertainment, she's been chosen. Give it up for the evil outcast. Swedish mom is dope, yo, you know she got class. So if you get bad vibes from storytelling, then these monsters in my mind will leave you yelling. You see, we all about hearing stranger stories on the creeps. So sweet, she really got love for me. Penny tails up, narrating for the win. Queenie Tade amazing, but real dark and grim. The Dementor centaurs, flickathon, swamp dwellers. Scolded 22, they be our fellas. Anime Atome, Timey Lives, our fantastic panic deep. Paranormal history, great graphics. What's up, Bullis Greedy? I meant CP. I'm gonna get so bent with nefarious TV. Slumberies, Art of Morbid, Cap 7, truly salmon. And we can never forget about Karen. Karen, 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 Karen.
I already know what I want on the mug. I know. There goes the mugs. There goes mugs. Don't forget to buy your mugs. You can have anything you want in your mug. And I want the new Z Horde. You see it right there. The new Dezombified Yaman on a mug. And I want it black background.
Yep, same here. I
And
want it
then
on a black mug and a black t-shirt.
And on the other side, I want the old one. Oh, Alexa just subscribed.
Thank you, Alexa, and get the
What's that
zombie
run
chase you
across
there on the screen.
And you
Also,
see the one that CCG's got there with the eating plant. Not sure that's is that a Venus flytrap? Maybe. And
maybe
you
the
got
plant from Little Shop of Horrors, but it looks like a
Audrey.
Venus flytrap.
And then we've got toothpaste and toothbrush and a hamster. I prefer tea in my mugs, but you know, it's herb tea or hot chocolate. Oh,
that sounds good.
give me some hot chocolate. But you know, I need something to hold pins over by the laptop. Maybe I could use a mug for that. I've got a small. Now I don't have as nearly as big a collection as CCG because I'm just getting started. But yeah.
Yeah, I heard she's got like at least a dozen or so, maybe more by now. She's got a nice mug collection there. So yeah, order one of every type there. You never have too many mugs. You can drink out of one, put your hamster in one, put jelly beans in one, put it on your desk, pins, whatever you want.
Love you too, Stephen.
And we don't advocate this, but Goblin Princess Kios recommended taking it with you to the pub in case you get in a pub fight.
No, we don't advocate violence.
One in each fist and fight your way out of the bar.
And wear a Dezombified t-shirt too. You'd be covered.
If you get arrested after a bar fight and you're going to be on the news, make sure you shout out to Zombified. Gotta rep our family here. Want to say hi to Swedish Mom and also to Aisha in 1994.
She has got some fabulous art. If you've ever been to her,
she does. She's amazing. I've watched some of her streams there. She's a heck of a gamer too. I watched her play some Devil May Cry, I think, the other day, and she's wearing it out.
I have to say congratulations to Nerdy Blurb. He just hit 700 subscribers. Yay! Right. I finally got 100. That was my goal for September, was to get 100 subscribers and to get at least 2 videos up. So I've got one video ready to go up, and I've hit 100 subscribers, and I got my custom URL.
Deal. Yeah, that's always the big first step there, to get that URL, and then the next big milestone then is 1,000. So you're on your way. But with your writing that I've seen, I don't think you'll have any problem getting a crowd in there to listen to your video, especially if you're doing original stuff. And then also, I think you mentioned maybe doing some public domain work, some of the older stuff. Looking forward to that too. Always love to hear Poe or some
Poe and Brothers Grimm, Hans Christian Andersen, Jonathan Swift. I've got a list of about 30 authors that keeps growing. That are
the ghost story, M.L. James, I think.
Dickens.
Dickens is in there too. Yeah, and that's something I'd like to see come back, is the tradition of the Christmas ghost story. And I know there's a movement in Britain to try to get it back there. I'd like to see people do it here too, because a lot of people forget A Christmas Carol, as it was written, it's a ghost story.
It is. Well, the first ghost story that we know of on record was written in ancient Greece. and that's where we get the ghosts and the chains and everything. That
Mhm.
came from that tradition there. And I can't remember who wrote it right off the top of my head, but I remember reading it because
Mhm.
it
I've read
it
it too, but it's escaping me now as to who or what was involved.
but it had the chains, and that's where we get that the ghosts have chains all over them. And yeah, I don't think all ghosts have chains. I think it, well, if you do bad in life, you're probably going to be a bad spirit. If you do good, you're probably going to be a good spirit. And there's going to be some kind of punishment there somewhere, I'm sure.
maybe that's ballast so you don't blow away.
I
Okay, speaking of ghosts, I've got something great here that I want to share with you. Not really a news item per se, something I saw on Twitter over the weekend. I'm going to pop this up here.
give me
If
that.
you're in southern Australia, little town of McGill, which is a suburb of Adelaide, there's a Victorian era house about to go on the auction block,
Ooh,
and it's a beautiful house. But then when you dig into the description and read the description, and then go look at the photos, it's like, what is going on or has gone on here?
yeah, they've got some beautiful, beautiful places down there. And this one, wasn't it abandoned?
I think it was at one point. It said that it needed some renovation. It was built in 1856. Two titles, unrenovated. Has a tiny original chapel, dual cellars, rooftop viewing platform,
Rooftop looks
backs onto the
gorgeous.
council reserve, so you feel like you're in the country.
Hey, swamp dwellers.
And then it continues on. Mystery and
That's
intrigue.
gorgeous.
OMG beats anything you will ever see. It's at every turn. History, excitement, challenge your senses, but if you're a scaredy cat,
Cool.
don't come. It goes on to say that been the same family since 1977, and the family themselves describe it
That
as like the Mrs. Bates house in the Hitchcock movie, the house on the hill.
it's gorgeous. It
And then the
the
very last
Halloween
note there
decor.
is brave people only, leave the kids at home or keep them supervised and watch the steps. And if you go into the photos there, I think it starts around photo number 11. So it's kind of strange anyway. There are some interesting objects, the art in there. And then when you hit that one,
Oh,
they've got some kind of really strange, like you said, Halloween decorations.
yeah.
There's some kind of high priest outfit, giant spiders. Uh, One of the normal rooms, the next picture there, the fireplace and a marble bust. Then on the wall, you've got a painting of Alice Cooper in straitjacket.
It's
So,
kind of interesting.
and then the next picture, the stairs. I don't know if that's a cellar or an attic room. I can't tell if that's a dormer or if that needs out at ground level. But I'm thinking maybe that's the stairs they're talking about.
Mm,
And the part about leave your kids at home or keep them supervised, if you expand the map view and take a look, it's equally distant located between a kindergarten and an elementary school. And then just a little ways to the west, there's a preschool.
oh my
So
goodness.
I don't know, maybe they're grabbing kids and stashing them in the house. And that's why you need to keep an eye on your kids when you're there. But it can be yours, estimated auction value of it there's right around $600,000,
Oh
which
yeah,
to me that's a bargain for that type house. There's
it is.
just normal two-bedroom houses out here in Portland, ranchers that sell for half that much. So a house like that,
It is, but I couldn't afford that. Swamp dweller, are you in my swamp in my backyard?
glad to have you with us, swamp dweller. that part of the country where you're at, and there some swampy areas in that part of
Oh,
Louisiana? Mia?
I can drive just down the street here, and we've got it literally. There's a bayou right back here. Why is Swedish Mom's message retracted? Is Nighthawk being stupid again?
I think she did that herself.
I can't see it. But... Miss Cass reads.
Okay,
Is that Miss Cass Entertainment?
Cass reads. I don't. Yeah, I'm not familiar if that's the same as Miscast Entertainment with another channel.
I don't know.
Let us know in the chat there.
Yeah. Look at that. Look at the sculptures there and the faces and stuff.
And then if you look in the fireplace there's a skull or a skeleton or something.
Yeah.
Hiding back there. So little surprises all throughout that house. But and then you got something like a football jersey there. Something very normal. And it said that the tiny attached chapel had been converted into a bathroom, of all things. But
I love the built-in bookshelf.
In the text there, they were suggesting that maybe to renovate that chapel and have weddings on the premises. But
it would help.
It would make a nice bed and breakfast. So yeah, if you're in Southern Australia, near Adelaide, go check that out. Artie Morbid, good morning, good afternoon, sir. Glad to have you with us.
That's okay, Mad Chatter. Mad Chatter, I'll tell you, I went through all of his videos. Every once in a while, and I've done it to yours, you know that. I'll go through and I'll just binge on somebody's channel. And I have a habit of leaving a message, a comment on every video if I can. And yeah, he's like, you're just binging on my stuff.
And Miscast Reads did confirm there that
it is
Miscast Entertainment. He's working on one channel and said Chrome changes it all the way across the board. So
it does.
Good deal.
Yeah, my Mia Mina Reads series is going to be the public domain stuff. Mia Talks is going to be my stuff and some other stuff.
I like the idea of that, having different channels for different things, and that way you don't get pigeonholed, or the part that you want to be pigeonholed is pigeonholed, and then you can
it's
cover broader topics.
Different series, so you've got different things going on. Yes.
There's a video of the house playing there. It doesn't show the creepy parts in the video. I'm sad that they left that out. To me, that was the highlight. That would have, if I had the money, that would have sold the house for me. Like, leave it just like it is. I want it.
Yeah, look at that up on the top of the roof where you can stand there and look across everything.
You can stand up there and glare at the kids at the school menacingly.
Get off my lawn.
It's just amazing. And, just one of those things, even a mansion like that, you never know what goes on behind closed doors or what those people are into. The Addams family lived there, I think.
I love the Addams family. That was one of my favorite TV couples because they didn't have a problem with showing the fact that they loved each other in front of their children or everybody else.
Absolutely. And then to a degree, the Munsters were like their working class cousins. Herman was a gravedigger and Gomez was a lawyer. So you had the low end and the high end there. But
I liked both of them. I don't understand this. You can't like one. You have to like one or the other.
It was just, I think there was a little network fighting there. Both shows premiered around the same time and then disappeared around the same time. So
I never had that. I guess that's why I don't have a problem with horror stuff together.
Now, speaking of reading and stories and things, we'd like to ask you to take part in a little segment here that we call Spooky Story Time. We're going to go ahead and get you a background up here for atmosphere and effect. And then if you would, either share a personal paranormal experience with us, or maybe a local legend in some of the places you've lived, or if you wanted to share something you've written, just lady's choice, anything you'd like to do there, or all three.
or all three. Okay. Well, I live in South Louisiana currently, and I live very close to New Orleans. I'm 35 minutes from the French Quarter. I can drive down there very quickly, and y'all know there's a lot of ghost stories and everything down in the quarter and in the rest of New Orleans. Um, it's really uh, very historical city. I love going down there. I can't go down there like I used to. But in 1762, during the 7 Years' War, France ceded Louisiana to its Bourbon ally Spain. This was we call it Pirates Alley now. And there was a secret treaty of Fontainebleau. The French colonists in New Orleans received the news, and not many of them were pleased. They were fearing that the Spanish trade restrictions would ruin the local economy. So, a rebellion of the urban elitists and the rural militants expelled the first Spanish governor in 1768. The following year, Spain sent a military governor, Alejandro O'Reilly, with a flotilla of 23 armed ships to restore Spanish authority in New Orleans. He had the 5 leading conspirators executed at Fort St. Charles on the foot of present-day Esplanade Avenue and French Street in New Orleans. According to the legend, the men were denied their traditional Catholic burial rites by him. Their family solicited the aid of a priest of the St. Louis Church, and I'm not going to say the name because I will murder it, who miraculously eluded the Spanish guard in the dead of night and transported the bodies for interment to the St. Peter Street Cemetery. On foggy mornings in the alleyway of the St. Louis Cathedral, one might catch a scrap of the song or sandal footsteps of the singing as he repeats his miracle procession of these men that were killed. Let's see. Obviously, I kind of do believe. I'm a skeptical believer of the paranormal. I don't believe that everything, every knock, every creak in a house is paranormal. It's a ghost or something. I want to make sure that there's not a normal reason for it. I was never really scared of the dark, but I had what I called my elves, because I didn't have any other word for it, that lived under my bed. And when I turned out the light at night, they were in charge of the room. And I had to ask them permission if I had to get up and go to the bathroom. I had to ask them, and this is all in my head. I had to ask them permission to get out of bed so that they could make the floor solid again, because the floor always looked like it was floating like water. I don't know why. I was on the second floor, so there's no reason for that. But when I asked permission, I'd step out of bed and the floor would be solid. I also had I always thought it was a shadow of the lamp on my dresser that was on the wall, but I keep looking at it now and I'm going, that couldn't have been it. It was a man's figure on the wall, and I talked to him at night, and he was always there the whole time we lived in that house. I don't know why he was in that house. I don't know where he came from, but I felt safe when he was there for some reason. It was like okay, you know, he's my guarding shadow man or whatever, and to keep me safe. Um, something I wrote. Let's see, this one might work. This one's called Dominic's Friend. Aya sat against the stone marker, staring down at the stone scroll the artist had created to show it had fallen from the hands of the crying angel of the marker. She wished they had actually written something on it. It would be more realistic. It would tell her something, she sighed. The sun was not yet up. This had been her final place for the night through many years since her death. With the night ending there, it was also where she began. Yet her being here this time was different. Dominic Kloss knew the sun was coming up where to find Aya. She was always in the crypt at the same place. Her place. There was a different reason he knew she was there this morning. Part of him hoped that she wasn't there. He always started down there so he wouldn't be so lonely during his work. She would follow him around as he worked, as he talked. He would walk down the stairs into the crypt. He looked around to see if there was anything out of place he would have to take care of or investigate. He was a young man in his mid-20s, relatively good looking. His dirty blonde hair was darker with each year. He'd even been told as a child how his pale blue eyes were captivating. His work kept him in shape. There was no need for him to work out. The duties he performed on a daily basis were more physical than any workout routine would be, though one would think he would be a prize for any young woman. His love life didn't exist. It was well known the Klosses took care of the Avagin family graveyard. His family had been the groundskeepers of the grave for centuries. In the past, it had been an honorable position, which brought an air of propriety. However, now, it was not as favorable. Women didn't find his occupation and his home favorable for someone they wished to be in the company of. At least not the women he knew. So, though he usually finished his daily tasks by middays, he spent his time in the company of those spirits of the Avagin family, still roaming the graveyard and the crypt. Most of them were visiting for a short time. They would be there periodically, before disappearing for a while. They were not permanent visitors. Only Aya was permanent, or seemed to be. She had been there since her death, which was centuries before. Dominic's father had told him and his siblings about her, and his father had. It had been a story passed down from father to mother and their children since her death. She was a lost spirit. Even though they knew who she had been and where she was buried, she was lost or stuck in the graveyard alone. The other spirits didn't even seem to acknowledge her for the most part. Those that did acknowledge her looked on her with pity. Dominic walked past the infant's casket and nodded to the child. He had always been able to see the spirits, not just the Avagin family, but spirits everywhere. There was always one in the Kloss family who were gifted with the ability to see and hear and communicate with the spirits. Frequently, it was more than one child in a generation. Dominic's twin, Demi, had the ability too. However, she was somewhat afraid of it. Dominic took his father's place when he retired. He felt called to it. His father was proud of his choice. Dominic's siblings were separated out when the choice had been made. His sisters married well, having children of their own. His brothers were almost all married. Some had children. They all questioned Dominic about why he was not married yet. The evening before this, the berating had begun again. He made the regular excuses, but he knew the truth. Everyone knew the truth. He was a great guy with a creepy job and a house who could see, hear, and communicate with spirits. Everyone knew about Dominic. All the women around him knew. None of them wanted to live in a graveyard. In fact, the only real close friend he had was Aya. Finally, he made it back to the corner where he knew he would find her. Of course, there she was, same place she had been for the last 3 days without moving. She had not followed him out when he worked. She had never was in the same place without moving for this long. He walked over to sit on the other side of the stone scroll. Okay, something's bothering you and you're not telling me. What's up? He said after watching her sit there for a few minutes. Aya didn't respond at first. It was like she hadn't heard. Her eyes stayed on the stone scroll as she finally spoke in her soft, whispered voice. I'm forgetting things. Forgetting things? She nodded and looked up at him without moving her head. Forgetting things about our family history. What do you think they were going to put on the scroll? She continued, her thoughts obviously jumbled and scattered. I think it was left blank because you died, leaving your life story unwritten or incomplete, he said, trying to be comforting. Then he went back to the previous topic. You mean your life? She moved her head finally to look at him, and the look on her face made him worry. There was a blank confusion there. He'd never seen it on her before. He had seen it on others. Usually it was on spirits far older than she. Spirits who were losing their connection to who they were in life, losing their humanity. If they were earthbound, they were turning bitter and angry from the frustration. Then they turned malevolent. His mind started racing to find a way to stop it, though he had never heard of it being stopped. My life? Did I live? Is this my stone? Yes, Ayaya, you lived. You died young, but you did live, he answered. He wished he could hold her, feeling he went through frequently. This is your stone. It was sculpted to show the anguish of your loss to your family. It was said the angels even wept for your loss. There was a month of rain after you died and were buried. Ayaya, when did this loss of memory start? She turned and looked at him. The memory started to come back to her. Somehow his affirmation had opened them back up to her. She blinked at him before she spoke. It started 3 days ago. I don't know why. I don't know how you just gave me the memories back. What do you mean? She smiled. The blank confusion was gone. She was back. He could see it. It was like she was a completely different person, a spirit. Yes, he forgot she was not a living person often. She was more of a person to him than most that were alive. Finally, she spoke in her normal, whispery voice. Dominic, somehow you reminded me I was alive. When you called me by name, you gave me all that I lost back. I'm not sure, but it was like all of it came back instantly with my name. That's wonderful. I've never seen it come back to a spirit before. I mean, I've seen spirits lose their memory of their lives, and then they lose their humanity. They change. I was scared it was happening to you. His expression brightened. He wouldn't be losing her. He would still have his best friend.
Wow, that was a great story. And the other parts you told too. Some round of applause there in the chat for our own Mia Mina.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask you a little bit about New Orleans there. Now, have you ever been to the St. Louis Cemetery #1? You probably know where I'm going with this.
Yes, I have, and I have touched it.
Okay. We're talking about the grave of New Orleans voodoo queen Marie Laveau. It's there in St. Louis Cemetery #1.
Yes.
Very interesting. That's one of those things. If you go to New Orleans, you've got to do that. I've got a story about that for another time, but it involves two Cajun goth girls. My friend and I met at Marie Laveau's grave, took us to a party, which happened to be out on an island somewhere in the swamp, and we're probably lucky that they didn't just feed us to the alligators because anything could have happened. But we made it back, lived to tell the tale. But it's wow, had a lot of fun down there.
Hi,
Saw,
Mighty Bot or Mighty Mite.
yeah, we've had some new people come in. Mighty Mite,
Yes, it's Mighty Bot.
Mighty Mite, and Nightbot's been wreaking a little havoc there. I think he's settled down there. Nina Love came in. Hello to you, Val Moore. Great to have you
Hi,
with us.
Val. Val's another one from Paranormal.
The Amino. Good. Like I said, I'm a member there, but after today, I've got to be more active there because it looks like there's a lot of talented people there in the
There is.
Paranormal on YouTubers Amino.
Thank you, Miss Cass. I did all well. I could do more, but
Let's see. We can do another news
Yeah,
story here if you'd like. Let's see what else I picked out this morning. Okay, there
I
was
still think,
some talk the other day of a lady that had married the ghost of a pirate, and
yeah.
that didn't work out too well. Where she's getting a divorce now. Well, we've got a lady here in the news that married a tree in front of her family, and she has plans to change her name to fit the species of tree there. So
Really? Now I've heard of I don't know if it's Indians or the Pakistanis, but I've heard of them marrying a tree to cleanse their spirit before they marry the man they're betrothed to. I don't know the whole story, but I've heard of it. I've just not looked into it that much. Oh my goodness.
Mom of two has tied the knot with a tree and now intends to change her surname to reflect the species she married. Kate
Oh,
Cunningham's family and friends looked on as the bizarre wedding ceremony was held in a Merseyside park. The 36-year-old bride decided to marry the elder tree in Liverland's Rimrose Valley Park as a stunt to raise awareness about a campaign opposing the construction of a new bypass. So she's kind of had an ulterior motive there.
yeah.
And I think a lot of times people that do things like that do so for attention. In this case, maybe a good cause. But
Yeah. Some trees have all the luck. Thank you, Matt Chatter. They're going to lay down some roots. Oh, Miss Chatter. Oh, my husband says TMI, TMI. She's swinging on that tree. Oh my goodness.
she seems well happy there in the.
Yes, she does. she's
And
got her. Oh my goodness.
this guest reads that they're going to lay down some roots. Good
Oh
one.
my goodness. That's amazing.
So
I've given up trying to not be surprised by the things people do. Thank you, Aisha. KISSING. Oh my goodness.
yeah, the lady married a tree. Okay.
Well, I mean, if we don't have trees, we're in trouble. First of all, but I can't see marrying a tree. At least not in that way. I am Groot. I am Groot. I like fruit. I am Groot. Love you, Aisha. You have a good day and good luck with your new art. We have artists. We have narrators, we have paranormal investigators, we have paranormal uh, curious.
Now, speaking of art, let's go a little bit farther. There's an expo that may be coming to your town. I know it's coming here to Portland in October. It's already been
Oh,
several places. It's the Oddities and Curiosities Expo.
oh, that thing
Go
is
ahead
cool. I've
and
seen
bring
pictures.
this up.
I want to
Looks
go
like
too.
it's see what dates are still coming up.
Nice one,
Hey,
Jenna.
it's going to be in New Orleans on September 21st. You're in luck.
If you married a tree, you would always find wood in the morning. That's what got me back in, and this is going to sound really strange. That's what got me back into watching a lot of YouTube videos. There's a channel called Obsolete Oddity, and Audie tells these stories about that it's true crime, history crime, or true history stories. And I got hooked on that, and then I started listening to Let's Read, and that just ballooned out into all sorts of things.
The second link there, if we can go to that one, it has some photos of
Ooh.
past shows. Let me.
Oh.
Okay, there we go. That's
They've
one.
got some really cool stuff.
In addition to all the strange, creepy things that you can find there, which includes
Oh, wow. Look at this dream catcher.
taxidermy,
Shrunken head.
both wet and dry specimen jewelry made out of bone and insects.
Oh, wow.
And they also have sideshows and human suspensions throughout the day. That's, if you don't know, that's where they put the hooks in your flesh and suspend you from the ceiling and let you twirl around. There's people that enjoy that sort of thing. But yeah, it's going to be in, let me go back to the dates here, going to be in New Orleans on September 21st, Denver, October 5th, here in Portland on the 19th of October, and then last show for this season, November 16th in Atlanta. But I'm definitely going to try to make it up there when it's here in Portland. If you get a chance there, Mia, check it out next week.
I would love to check that out. Oh, golly. I can't watch.
I could go nuts there, not so much for the body suspension stuff, but as far as the art, especially the things made out of bone, I really dig bone jewelry. So
yeah, the bats, that was fabulous. Oh, wow.
Lots of creepy haunted looking dolls. They've got
it
said wet and dry specimens, so I'm assuming a wet specimen's the ones they were showing there where it was petted pig and formaldehyde or something there. But that definitely looks like a fun weekend. I can't wait for that.
Love you too, Mad Chatter. Have a good day at work.
But anybody that's birthday shopping for your old buddy Steve here, go to the expo. I'll take anything they've got, except a body suspension. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I don't do that. I don't do that. The needles, I couldn't even watch them putting her up on that. I can watch it when she's up there.
Yeah, once they're up there, it's kind of, I know the Native Americans did a real similar thing, but they start putting the bones or the hooks or whatever into the slits in the skin. That's where it's like, okay, I'm out.
The bats.
Scorpion, a two-headed alligator.
Oh, scorpion?
Yeah, they're showing a live scorpion there, and they have the black light on it, and scorpions bioluminesce under ultraviolet light. Out in the desert, that's how you hunt for them.
What's that? That's amazing. The things they've got there.
But there needs to be
And
more
I love
art
the
and
kids
entertainment.
being there. I love the
Yeah,
kids
there
being
was
there.
one scene. There was a boy and a girl, probably brother and a sister, had a knife throwing act. I don't know about
Mhm.
that, but now that's some supportive parents there.
Yeah, and they're teaching their kids that things, you know.
Oh, that suspension in the legs there. I've never seen it in the legs. It's usually in the back of the shoulder.
I've
That
seen it
just
in the
hurts me
legs
to
and the
look
back.
at, to see it in the leg.
Mhm.
They're gonna bring back little kid knife throwers here.
Yeah, I love seeing the kids. I wonder if Chrissy's gonna be there.
But nobody messes with those kids. Boy, I'll
Yeah,
cut you.
especially the boy.
Yeah.
Because I mean, she has a lot of faith in her brother to just stand there and let him do that.
Definitely. Imagine like if they had a fight on the way. Oh, he's
Oh,
looking
yeah.
at me. He's looking at me. She won't stop touching me. Like, just wait till I get you on stage.
You on the board. I'll purposely get you. Oh my goodness. But they're so cute. They might be.
But yeah,
They do
again, if
look a lot
coming
alike.
to one of your areas, definitely check it out. I'd say that's
I would love to go
worth a
down there,
visit,
but
even if you can't buy anything, just to look and to see all the sideshow exhibits and the body suspensions. And there's
yeah.
other link up there with photos. They've got a lot of still photos of past different markets there and some of the wares. There's everything, haunted dolls and you name it. If it's weird and creepy, it's there at the Oddities Expo.
See you later, Steven.
Yeah, Ghost Tech, thanks for stopping by. I'm going to pay more attention to that amino later when I get on there.
He's probably at work. He's usually at work this time of day, so he's probably getting ready to lose his internet.
Yeah, he says he's at work in a bad service area.
Yeah. I just love that they're working together the way they are, the kids, and having the other kids coming through and seeing that there's weird stuff in here. My granddaughter, and it's funny because she doesn't mind stuff like that, but like she saw Pennywise and she's like, "That's a bad clown." And I go, "Well, are all clowns bad?" She goes, "No, not all clowns bad, but that's a bad clown."
My daughter, when she was little, and I've told the story before, she was scared to death of Pee Wee Herman, but she slept with a talking Freddy Krueger doll. And she didn't like clowns. She had a little Jack in the Box, and you could terrify her with that. She would just hear the, they don't even she'd run. So, is there anybody in the audience that would like to come on the hangout and say hi to a guest or myself this morning? Just let us know in the chat and we'll send you out a link. Or if you've got any questions and you don't want to come on and speak, you can put them there.
All clowns are bad. Nightbot.
Nightbot's smacking that chat.
You're drunk. Nightbot is drunk.
Nightbot must like clowns because Miscast Entertainment had said all clowns are bad. And,
he said it in all caps. That's
okay.
What it was.
That's why Nightbot smacked him down there.
It's the all caps. Careful with the caps. Yeah. But the Amino group is really cool. They're very much like our group here. I really would love to see the two groups joining together because there's a lot of everybody in there and everybody in here, and they all support each other and help each other. Mm-hmm. And I'm all for that.
Yeah, from what I've seen on there, it's just amazing. Journey Through the Gate Paranormal Podcast. Hello, that's my co-author, Cisco Murdoch. We wrote a book together. Actually, it's her book. I just did a commentary. She did all the heavy lifting. We're working on getting that out in paperback very, very soon. We got the cover back from the graphic artist this weekend, and the editor is doing the final little run through there, and then it'll be out in paperback. So we're looking forward to that. Should be in the stores, library, online around October the 1st, I'm hoping, in paperback.
Cool.
So keep an eye out for it. It's called
Yeah.
We Are All Children in the Wilderness of the Afterlife, a guided story through a haunted life. And yeah, Cisco is awesome.
Yes.
Cisco, would you like to call in and talk with us a little bit? Are you somewhere where you can do a Google Hangout?
And anybody who wants to ask questions.
Yeah, you can ask a question in the chat, or we'd be glad to bring you on a Google Hangout and have you talk to us live. Just throw a green heart in the chat there, or let us know, and we'll get linked to you.
Gotta wait for people to catch up with us.
Yeah, I always forget there's a 30-second delay, and it's like, how come nobody's saying anything? And then like,
Yeah. That was something I got used to with doing the radio show, because we had MIRC for our chat, because broadcasting software wasn't YouTube. This was actually a little before YouTube when we started. Yes.
she's Cisco's 3 minutes from a mic. She's on her way. But yeah, I remember MIRC, and even before that, the old just IRC, the Internet Relay Chat. That was kind of the Facebook of the day, and people would make different rooms and chat about different things and trade MP3s and do other things we weren't supposed to do, but that was state of the art at that time.
The station had an MIRC room, and we would be on the air, and I'd do like a 3-minute talk over between songs. And when I would do those talkovers, I would look in the chat and people would talk to me, and I got used to reading the chat while I was talking and commenting back to the chat. And that's actually where Mina comes from.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was my DJ handle, was Mina. And they called me Mina, the Mina Caboose. Because I character was a succubus, so I was a Mina Caboose. And my husband was a Minotaur. See, I had to say it wrong just to get a reaction out of him. But and one of our other DJs, Calmando, and his wife Cal Patty sent him a stuffed Minotaur, and he still got it over there. And yeah, that was, we put pictures up and everything on the webpage. It was fun. That was actually a lot of fun to do. We had a show 3 nights a week, and then I ran the overnight playlist every night. So it was real fun.
Stuff there. And something else
I wouldn't have thought I'd ever do. It's one of those things that I went to school for this. I was doing it, and this just came up, and it was a fun experience. It was something to add to the experience of life.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes those things I think are the most rewarding, most refreshing things that you do, stuff that you just kind of fall into and like, hey, I like this. And that's kind of the way I got into narration. I was an author. I never had any idea that I'd be reading my own stories, but when I decided I wanted to do something on YouTube, I was thinking, I like the top 5 or the top 10 lists, and then I kind of heard some other narrators, and I thought, hey, I'd like to try that, even though I hate my voice. I thought, what would I read? And then I've got, I've got 3 books here that I wrote. I can narrate stories out of those, and now it's came full circle. And instead of narrating stuff that I've written, I'm writing stuff to narrate, which will go in another book. So it kind of a vicious cycle there, if you will, feeding on itself, which is a good thing.
I honestly never expected, when I put the channel together, I never expected to be reading my own stuff. The main thought was reading the works that I enjoyed when I was growing up, from Dickens and Grimm's, and I can't do Edward Gorey's stuff because he's still alive, and so he's not public domain, but that type of work.
Mhm.
And things that I know we did in literature and in high school and college, and I know some of it doesn't get out there to people. I mean, I say, have you ever read Jonathan Swift's Modest Proposal? And people look at me like I've grown a third ear or something. Uh, and yeah, I don't think I'll be able to do that on YouTube. I might be able to do it, and I got arguments on that because I said that in front of somebody who's a historian, and he says that was read in Parliament. It should be allowed on YouTube. It was read in Parliament. If it could be read in Parliament, it should be allowed on YouTube. And then I look at some of the things that YouTube has gotten rid of, and I'm going, I don't know.
Yeah, there's a fine line there. It's like, are you familiar with the author M.R. James?
Mhm.
Famous ghost story author. He lived between, I want to say, like 1862 and sometime in the 1930s. So technically, I believe his stuff is in public domain.
If he died before 75 years ago.
Yeah. So, yeah, should be right in around that area then.
Yeah.
He's got some just wonderful, wonderful ghost stories. And he was one of the first people to really do that found an audience, I think. And I would love to hear some of those narrated.
Yeah, that would be amazing. And like the story that I read, Dominic's Friend, that was a challenge. That was the prompt was we had to write a story about a ghost that was trapped in the graveyard and their relationship with the caretaker of the graveyard. And it could have been anything. That was all we had. It had to be a lost spirit in the graveyard and the graveyard keeper. And that's what came out of it for me. I think there's more to that story, and I'm probably going to be revisiting it some. But
good deal.
It's just that type of thing. You get that little bit of spark with the story that I read and sent for the Dezombified 1,000 subscriber, which people, if you haven't gotten your stuff in, they're at 868 subscribers. So you need to hurry up and send it in so that they can have a lot of people with their narrations or their stories or just their comments saying how great Dezombified is for that show. But that story, the prompt for it was one word: bitten. That was the prompt for it.
That could go so many different ways. That could be a vampire story. That could be a werewolf story. It could be a zombie story.
It could be anything.
Yeah, all the above.
Yeah, it could be a dog or coyotes or
another person.
Or another person.
People bite people.
Yeah, but you think about it, the possibilities are endless, and it's just the limit of your imagination. And we all have imagination. Some of ours have not been used as well because, well, we've been told not to use it. And I think that's sad when somebody's creativity is locked up in a jar, so to speak, because, well, that's just silly stuff. You don't need to be dealing with that. It's sad to see that happen to people. Hey, Huntress. Hey, Demented Maniac.
I got several folks coming in. Demented Maniac, Huntress of the Unknown.
Stormy's still here.
Glad to see you guys with us. Yeah, we've had Some with us from the start here. Has anybody seen CCG today? I haven't
I've
seen her
not
in the
seen
chat. She's
CCG.
usually around,
She
but
was up late last night.
yeah, I was gonna say I got up around 4 o'clock and she was doing something on Discord then, so she may have conked out around
Yeah.
daylight. She's another one of my night owls, though. A lot of times I'll be on late at night and she'll be on Discord. We pop in and
She
she's
was
like, "Hey,"
on Discord at 2 o'clock when I was moving computers. Of course, I
and
didn't really move computers. I just knocked out.
and Jose, Puerto Rican, he's another one known for his late night streams. I've caught him a couple of times. I think starting around midnight my time, or maybe even later than that, doing like the ghost box sessions and stuff. I love to sit in on those and see what they come up with.
Miss Cass is asking for the link to come in. Demented is saying hi to both of us and everybody else.
There, a minute. Okay, Miss Cat's going to be coming on. Just a few seconds. Check Twitter for your link there, Miss Cast.
So, what got you started writing? I'm just curious.
Me, it was one of those things. Even as a child, I wrote stories. And I think it was because I read a lot. And I could read by the time I started school. I was reading several grade levels above whatever grade I was in at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it fascinated me. And I started out, I would have these little storybooks, and I would sit and copy stories down out of my storybooks. Why? I don't know why that was such a big deal, but there was just something about, the magic and the power of the written word that I wanted to do that too. So, and then I realized, well, if I copy this, then that's just the same as that. So I need to change it around. So I would change these little kid stories around and maybe mix plots up from 2 or 3 different ones. And I'm like 5 years old and doing this, I had no idea, but I've always enjoyed writing. And like I said, the power of the written word and how, like music, it can affect someone either in a good way or a bad way. You can play with somebody's emotions. You can scare them. You can delight them. It's amazing what you can do.
It's a lost art that I think that our narrators and those like them that have Paranormal Files had a guy when they were out in Arizona who was telling them stories about the mountain range that they were investigating. And I could have sat there and listened to him for hours. He was just full of stories and everything, and he was very well spoken, and his tone and everything. And I likened him and you and a lot of our I could just go name off half a dozen narrators and still not get them all. It's the bard.
Mm-hmm.
It's what the bards used to do. They tell the stories. They tell the history. They could get a group of soldiers so riled up that they did their best job in battle that they'd ever been able to do before that.
Mm-hmm.
They would sing the songs of the past and everything. It was just, that was their job, and that was something that we don't really have that much of anymore. And I think the narrators and those that are like them, the storytellers that we have that are existing today, they're picking that up. My only real fear is us becoming a society like Fahrenheit 451.
Right.
I don't want to see it where we actually don't have books. We don't have some way of reading. We need that.
And it's kind of getting to that point now, especially with some of the history and stuff that you can, remember history and not necessarily celebrate what it represented, but history is history. That's what happened.
Yeah, you can't change what happened. It
like
happened.
the saying that's carved into the Simon Wiesenthal Center there, encouraging people to remember the Holocaust. Those who don't remember the past are doomed to repeat it. And I think you have to take that in mind. And maybe things should offend people. You can't hide everything that's going to offend someone, because you said you'll get to a point where everything's hidden at that point.
It's Well, they're having these things where they want to take down statues and take down this and move that. And no, that maybe move it into a museum, but that's part of history. It's part of our past. It's part of our culture.
Hmm.
It may not be something we're very proud of. I mean,
But yeah,
there are things that we did in the past that our countrymen did in the past, other countrymen did in the past that are horrid and we don't want to remember.
absolutely.
But it was history, and we have to expose ourselves to it so we don't make the same mistakes. We don't
Hello,
do it
hello.
again. Hello.
Hey, there's Miscast.
What's going on, guys?
All right. How
How's
are
it
you
going?
doing?
Doing good. Doing good. How you guys doing? Well, I know
All
how you're doing. I've been watching you the whole time.
Great to have you with us. So, do you have a
Yeah.
question here for the lovely and talented Miss Mia Mina?
Oh,
Yeah. How long have you been? Am I on video here?
yes.
What's up with that? All right. Hang on. Let me pop this chat out here so I can not get confused. Yeah. So you professionally do narration? Is that the case?
I'm just getting into the YouTube narration. My first video should be up this afternoon.
Oh, I can't wait to see it.
Thank you. Oh,
All right.
I don't have a link for it yet because I haven't posted it yet.
We'll see that the link gets out on Twitter and it'll be tweeted and bandied about back and forth because you won't want to miss it. And if you haven't
be a short
already,
one.
go and check out her blog. She's got some amazing writing on there. She is a master of dialogue.
Oh, you write too?
Yes. What I'll be what the video is I talk a little bit about the channel, and then I'm reading a poem that I wrote called "Do I Want Release," and it's a ghost. She's a ghost, and most of my stories or my tales are from a female perspective. It's easier for
Let-
me as a female to write from a female perspective.
Like the female gaze?
Like the what?
The female gaze?
Yes.
That's awesome.
And but it's the poem. It's a really short video. It's only about 4 minutes long total, but it's a start. And I think I got at least one of my audio issues taken care of with it. It's still having some issues, but I think
Good
I got
deal.
the main one.
Everybody
wrong.
starts
Wow.
somewhere, and you've already got
Yeah.
100 subscribers
Yeah.
to send your first
I
video.
still can't believe I've already got
That's
100
amazing.
subscribers.
That's freaking awesome. How long have you been on?
Well, I've had the channel since 2012, but I just started putting stuff up about 3 months ago.
Oh, wow.
And this is the first real narration video.
You're on camera doing it or
No.
no.
I'm
Yeah.
not brave enough to go on camera.
Hey, it's a definitely a different thing altogether.
Yeah.
Yeah, same here. I figure I've got a face for radio, so I'm happy with my little avatar up there.
Yeah, that's cool.
I've got pictures going, some that I figured went with the story and the poem.
Well, that's awesome. I can't wait to see it
Matter
or
of
hear it.
fact,
I wanted to ask on your blog there, you have just really, really powerful piece. I don't even want to call it a poem. It's a more free verse, I think, but it's called Grief's Price. Will you ever be narrating that at any
yes.
point?
Yes.
I love that. I sat there and read it like 3 times. It's amazing. If you've ever lost a loved one, and I know everybody has, that's for you there.
That'll be one of the next 2 that come out, actually. That one, I don't know why, but my mom's death was really hanging over my head. And I was really feeling sad about it. And my dad posted this thing about grief and how to deal with grief. And I read it, and each section in that poem actually came from one line in what he wrote. It doesn't say the line directly, but that's where it came from. It had something that it sparked in my head to bring it up. Oh my gosh, you've got my bio up. Everything is true, is still factual there, except for the 12 years is more like 15 or 16 now. Yes,
Well, my condolences.
Miss Cat's voice is great.
Absolutely. Got a great voice.
Thanks.
Narration. That's what Dezombified is putting in the chat there.
But,
Yeah,
anything else?
Yeah, you do it. You just did a live reading, which I could never do that. I'm a post-production kind of guy, except on video. Then I can do anything, but off video.
Honestly, I hate reading out loud. I don't like the way my voice sounds, and I always, when I was in school, it was one of those things, they put you on the spotlight, everybody's looking at you, everybody's watching you, and you're going to mispronounce a word, or you're going to missay a sentence or something.
Yeah.
And I hated that. I did not ever want to be called on to read out loud, and that always happens. They always call on you.
I hated that too, but I always pushed myself to do it. I even got up and did stand-up comedy at one time.
Whoa.
Just to get over my fear of speaking in public, and it works. It helps if you take a couple of belts of whiskey before you go on. I'm not going to advocate to anyone.
The secret of the green room.
Absolutely. And the first time I did it, I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun, and as soon as I was on stage, I was good. But then when I came off, until the next time I had to go on, it was butterflies and being nervous. And I did it again years and years later when I lived in Las Vegas, and actually found that it wasn't so scary and I didn't need the liquor. But that was why I stopped doing it in the first place. It's like, this is fun and I can do it, but I'm going to become an alcoholic, and I didn't want to,
Yeah, it's
I
no
want
good.
to trade one for the other. So
You've got the accuser up there. That was the prompt for that one was to write. Oh my goodness, you're going through my blog.
So you're gonna put together like a. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I can't tell who's talking. I was just gonna ask if you're gonna compile all this into a book, like a novel or something.
I would love to. Let me put it that way. I would love
screenplay.
to. He wants me to do a screenplay because I'm so good at dialogue, apparently. Thank you, Demented. I would love to. It would be a bunch of short stories. I do have a book that I was working on when I got sick. It's sitting here right next to me, and I haven't touched it since I got sick.
Oh, it would be awesome. I mean, then you could go to like bookstores and do live readings all the time.
Have people staring at me. Don't look at me.
I'll tell you what, I'll buy you a flask for your first reading.
Nina, confidence. My confidence comes from these guys. I'm
Yeah,
just
she had
admitting it.
messaged me. I think it's last night. She's like, "Oh my God, I'm so nervous." And I said, "Don't worry about it. We'll do a little." I always like to do a sound check and do a little mini interview. That way, if there are any questions the guest likes to be asked, I have them so we can both look smart and informed. That's the way they do it on the news channels, by the way. When the news anchor goes to the reporter on the scene, the reporter's already told them what to ask, so that way they both look smart and informed. And then once we started talking and she kind of got warmed up, I knew she was going to do fine. And that's usually the more nervous people are, then the better they do once they get in here. Like, hey, this isn't so bad. It's just, and I told her, we're just chatting and there happens to be, 20, 30 people listening in. So just think of it.
Yeah.
Oh, she's already here. She is in the hangout.
Cisco's here.
Into his house.
Into his house. Oh my gosh. Because, see, I'm kind of in awe of you guys. So, because you're just so
Narrate.
fabulous. And I just, like, I get my confidence from seeing what you guys are doing and hearing what you guys are doing. And, I don't think I could even think about doing this without having the confidence you guys have.
Yeah. Well, you get that support from your peers and from your family like this, whereas you might not have gotten it from your actual peers and your real family. And then you have this family that kind of knows what you're doing and digs it, and that puts a whole new spin on it.
It's still a learned behavior. I mean, I remember first starting YouTube, and it is nerve-wracking. And you go through a couple of times where you just feel like the whole world's going to collapse around you like shattered glass. But it goes away.
And I know I go back and listen to some of my very first videos. And I'm like, oh man, that's awful, cringy. But I'm just going to leave it up there. It is what it is. You can watch them in progressive order there and listen to me get better. Or I think it sounds better. I hate my own voice. I think I sound like an educated hillbilly, which essentially that's what I am. But I've got a head full of stories I love to tell. And that's the way my books started. I had all these stories I'd collected over the years, and I thought, I'm going to write them down. And I did, and now technically they'll live forever because I've also narrated them on the internet. And that's how I got Cisco into that. Soraya Ascath has a great radio show, WVBR-FM, out of Ithaca, New York, called Where'd the Road Go? I've been a guest on his show a few times. And he messaged me one time. He's got, I got this lady that you need to talk to. She's got some great stories, but she didn't have a book or anything. So Cisco and I had a phone call one Sunday afternoon, and we talked. How long was it, Cisco? About 3 or 4 hours, I think. And I don't know. She's in the chat, or in the hangout. But
I don't hear her.
I'm not hearing her. But anyway. And I kept after her, and she's like, okay, I'm going to do it, but you're coming with me. So what we ended up doing, and I'd never co-written with anyone, is she had the stories, and then she wanted me to come along behind and do like a color commentary, if you will. So I would talk about a similar experience that I'd had or heard of, and it worked out really, really well. But it's really her book. She did the heavy lifting, but I'm in there too. But I'm glad to be a part of it. We're all children in the wilderness of the afterlife, a guided tour through a haunted life. I've actually gotten to the point that I can remember all that and not be looking at the title. That's a mouthful.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool title, though.
Yeah, very descriptive, especially the guided tour through a haunted life. She's had so many experiences with the paranormal. It's an amazing story.
I like a title that's like a little bit poetic in itself.
It is.
Yeah. That one definitely is. What about you, Miss Cass? Do you have anything in print or plans to do anything in a print version?
I actually did write a book once with my mother a while back. She actually just drove me on like a crack in the whip behind me. It's called The Privy, because everybody knows that the most books get read while you're taking a poop.
Absolutely. Remember the old John's Bathroom Reader or something like that from back in the 70s?
Whoa. Simmer down now.
But yeah, the Privy. If you don't know what that is, that's a nicer way of saying an outhouse.
Yeah, basically.
From the place.
It's like fun facts about great people in history.
Oh, fun.
Basically stuff that leans toward the darker side of things. So like
Awesome.
what the real Cleopatra and Caesar life was like. For It's like short stories all compiled together.
Oh, cool.
The thing I
Definitely.
did for Miscast Reads, the original story for the 1812 original version of Snow White, that actually comes from a thing I wrote in the Privy. So that's where I got the idea for.
You wrote it in the Privy? Is that what you said?
Yeah, in the book, The Privy.
Wow.
Just wanted to check there.
That brings up other things.
I wrote mine on the bus and the train, but I don't recall writing anything in the Privy. But
I usually don't bust out a pen in the facility.
Hey, but when you get the muse starts telling you the truth.
I have had that happen where I'd go in the bathroom and when I worked a regular job and shut the door and start taking notes on my phone because I had a piece of dialogue or an idea that popped in my head. And if I don't get it down right away, then it's gone.
Oh, we got a wicked feedback loop going
I'm
on.
not sure what's going on there with Cisco. Maybe she's being attacked by aliens or something there.
Uh-oh.
Looks like she dropped out of the
Kayla, stop.
It's the Nightbot. You gotta watch out.
Oh, it's coming after me.
Nightbot attack. That was going after you big time there, Miss Kelly.
Yeah, it hates me. I don't know what the deal is. It's not the first time I've been attacked by that Nightbot on several different streams, like for nothing.
I wonder why it does that.
I think it just doesn't like my name, Miscast Entertainment. It's like you're a misfit or something.
I don't. That's not good. Yes, so any other questions?
What was that?
Any other questions?
Yeah, so you're releasing that at the end of the day. So what time?
I'm not sure. Right now, I've got 294 words I have to take out of the description.
Oh, wow.
We have I don't know how. Well, most of the creators know there's a 5,000 character limit in your description for your video,
Right.
and I'm at 5,294.
Wow.
So I've got to chop some stuff off, which I can probably do. I couldn't get it done before the show, and I had wanted to get it out before the show. So I'm hoping before 5 o'clock. It should be out before 5 o'clock.
Is that East or Western time? You're down here by me, right? So
Yeah, I'm
Eastern.
in Louisiana. So that would be Central.
Central Florida?
No, Central. Well, I'm in South Louisiana.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah. I have family in Central Florida. I have family in Gainesville. I have family in West Palm Beach.
Oh, all right.
Probably still have family in Miami, unless they've all died, but I don't know on that. My mom was born in Miami, so
Oh, all right.
my parents were married in West Palm Beach. So
I live in West Palm, not West Palm, but Palm Beach County. So
my uncle is one of your fire marshals,
oh, that's crazy.
Myron Mansfield.
Wow. These are small little cities around here, so I probably have bumped into him.
You probably have. He's the fun uncle. He's the uncle that always played with us and always, that's a good idea. You need to do that. You need to go forward with your dreams. He was that uncle.
Oh, cool.
Everybody's got that uncle.
Yeah, well, he's the hero uncle for real, though, right? I mean,
Definitely.
But, yeah, he's also the baby of my dad's family, which might have been why he was the fun uncle.
nice.
Yeah. We lost Cisco, didn't we?
Yeah, I'm sending her a message here on
Okay.
Messenger to see if she's going to try again.
Okay.
Sounded like she was having technical difficulties there.
Maybe she got vaporized by that feedback loop.
Kayla was going after her. The chat has stopped. Oh, yeah. Nightbox killing everybody, I tell you.
Now there's a story for you. Nightbot comes to life, inhabits maybe the body of another robot, and then goes around killing YouTubers.
I see it. I see that story. That is totally a Stephen King short story. It has it all over it.
Steve, write it.
Yeah. Yes. Do it.
You guys can't hear, but Miss Stereo's in my ear going, do it, write that for Halloween. We'll put it on our show. Do it.
Ooh.
Okay, I'll fiddle around with it and see what I can come up with. If I can do it justice, then I'll either give it to you to narrate, or
so we're gonna have.
If I write it, I want Kenny to narrate it. How's that?
Ooh, Kenny's voice.
Kenny narrated a story I'd written about the legend of Spearfinger. Put it up on my channel like at 2 a.m. on August the 20th, and it was basically, I hate to say this, but it was filler for a book about the Smoky Mountains that I'm doing. Well, what I didn't know, there's a show on the Travel Channel called Mountain Monsters, which are like these crazy hillbilly guys that get out and hunt monsters. Well, on their season debut for episode 6, they talked about Spearfinger. So immediately after that video aired on the 21st, had people searching for Spearfinger on YouTube, and the YouTube gods smiled with favor on me because my video ranked, and it shot up, took off. It's my best performing video today. Mercury the Scribe did the voice of Spearfinger. Kenny did just amazing narration on there. He's just a master. He's got that whole Barry White vibe going on, you know.
It's and
it took off. It's up. I think it's around 3,000 views now, and it's
holy cow,
more than double or triple what my videos normally. Just in a few days, it did that. So I'm gonna see if we can get lightning in a bottle and get lucky like that again. So I'm going in and looking at what they've got coming up in future episodes, so I can kind of keep riding their coattails just a little bit. Even though that video, it had played, I think the first time we played it was
here.
It was on here, but I don't remember if it was on the Creepy Channel Crawl. I believe it was. And then they played it several times here, and then I needed to put something up, and I thought, well, I'll go ahead and use this since it's already done. And boom, it just took off. So that's how it can happen sometimes. You know, you never know.
And, you know,
if you haven't heard it, go to my channel, 13 Past Midnight. It's all there. And then they play it often here on the stream sometimes too.
I have a habit of doing Mercury's voice when she does her part, because that is so cool.
Yeah, the first time I heard that, I was sitting here, I had my headphones on, and when oh my God, it gave me chills. Literally, the hair stood up on the back of my neck, and I thought, that is awesome.
It sounds great.
You want to hear it now? We can
do it.
They can cue it up. Yeah, let's hear it. Spearfinger, featuring Mercury the Scribe and Kenny Dreadful.
Awesome.
That nice, warm, honey voice.
Uela nasiku susasai. Liver, I eat it. Susasai. Uela nasiku susasai.
Ask most any Cherokee child living in the area of the Great Smoky Mountains, and he or she will be able to tell you the legend of Spearfinger. I guess that the majority of adult Cherokee can tell you the legend as well. Cherokee parents have been telling it in order to scare kids for more than the past 100 years. I can remember asking my father himself, one quarter Cherokee, why parents always tell their kids such frightening legends and stories. His answer was a simple one, and probably the most correct. When you grow up poor in Appalachia, your parents had to tell you something to scare the daylights out of you, to get you to lay down and shut up and go to sleep at night. A day's work started well before daylight, And nothing would have gotten done if we kids had laughed and giggled and ran around all night like wild Indians. Like I said, sounds like a good explanation to me. It made even more sense when I became a father. There's just some inherent fun about scaring your kids with tales about ghosts and haunts, like my parents did to me. Spearfinger is the spirit of an old witch who is said to roam the Norton Creek Trail and Whiteside Mountain areas of the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. The legend of Spearfinger, especially when told during the dark of night while camping deep within the Smokies, may just be the scariest Cherokee folktale in existence. Spearfinger is rumored to have a long, sharp piece of obsidian rock as her right pointer finger, and it's been napped into a long, sharp knife blade, hence her name. It's said that the witch lurks in the woods, along the trails and deep woods of the Smoky Mountains. Her teeth and mouth permanently stained a deep scarlet red blood from all the children whom she's managed to steal away from their parents. She uses her long, sharp knife of a finger to extract and then eat their livers. If that doesn't get a kid's attention right there, nothing will. It is also told in the legend that Spearfinger always keeps her right hand clenched tightly, as her very heart is hidden beneath the skin of her palm, and she must protect it at all cost. Because of this part of the legend, it is said that the Cherokee are leery of anyone who may have strayed too long or too far from their own village, as Spearfinger is not only a witch who steals and eats children's livers, but also has the ability to skinwalk or shapeshift, providing her the ability to assume the form of anything she wants, including your best friend or family member. If your parent or sibling or pals have been gone from the campsite from a long time, it might be a good idea to ask to see the palm of their right hand when they finally return to camp. If Spearfinger has, indeed, assumed the form of the person in question, she will flee before revealing her open palm. Aside from shape-shifting into a family member, loved one, or friend, another favorite trick of Spearfinger is to disguise herself as a friendly grandmotherly lady who has lost her way along the trails. Her favorite tact in this case is to try and also lure children away, under the guise of helping her back to her cabin, which she assures the child is just a little ways away, and that their parents won't miss them on such a quick trip there and back. Once you fall for the seemingly harmless old lady's ruse, it's hello Spearfinger, goodbye liver, and you're never seen or heard from again. It kind of puts a different spin on all this missing person stories from the Great Smoky Mountains, doesn't it? For trips into the very lair of Spearfinger, inquire about the current conditions of the Norton Creek Trail and Whiteside Mountain areas at the National Park Welcome Center or at any ranger station. The wonderful Park Service employees will be more than happy to point you on the way, should these areas be accessible during the time in which you wish to visit. Please be aware that due to the weather and other factors, the conditions of trails and amenities within the Great Smoky Mountains National Park can literally change without warning. Make your trip a safe one and live to tell the tale.
I don't like their automated way of like cleaning out your own library of channels, you know.
And we're back. Thanks for playing that there.
That was
If you want to listen to it again for whatever reason, you can find that on my channel, 13 Past Midnight.
make sure you give it a like and
Kenny Dreadful and Mercury the Scribe just knocking it out of the park on
Yeah.
that one. That's my favorite story of mine, period, that anybody has ever narrated, including the ones that I've narrated myself.
It was extremely haunting, to say the least.
Thank you. All the credit goes to those guys. Kenny could read the phone book and I'd sit and listen to it with my mouth hanging open. You know, it's just like, wow.
It's not the words, it's his voice.
I'm a
really
big
is.
time audiobook connoisseur, and if someone doesn't have the right voice, even if the story's good, I cannot listen to it.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
There are people that have just, to me, annoying voices. I'm like, God, I can't listen to this. I'll go read the book.
Yeah. Your voice is an instrument.
Yes, it is. And I got teased when I was a teenager because I didn't have a problem getting in front of people and doing one thing, but I hated reading. I hated public speaking. But you get up there in front of hundreds of people and you do this and this and that. Yeah, but I don't have to think that because I practiced and I know what I'm doing up there.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, like, social anxiety plays on you sometimes, and it messes up your art. It definitely does if you're not prepared for it. I mean, some people just have the ability to just jump on stage and do it, but you know, not everybody has
I'm
that.
an introvert by nature, so it takes, a lot of self-coaching and, yeah, you can do it. Come on, to get to the point where I can do it when I have to. But sometimes, though, that's the way you grow, and you got to step outside the box and put yourself in situations where you're uncomfortable.
Definitely.
The way you grow.
Because you find things like that. Hey, I like doing this.
I'm terrified to put this video out this afternoon. I really am. I know I'm going to be shaking here when I hit the button.
Oh, you shouldn't be. I mean, you just did a story live and it was awesome. I mean, this one's prepped. How can it be not awesome?
15 audio records yesterday trying to get it right.
Wow.
I'm like, bless you. But okay. Okay.
I feel you there.
All right, folks, we are getting ready to wrap it up here. Thanks to everybody for tuning in, or if you're watching it in the future on the playback, thanks for playing it there.
I'm going to drop this amino link back in the
Yeah,
chat.
put some links in there for the people. Mia, thank you so much for being my guest today. It's been wonderful. And I want to mention you're always posting about NaNoWriMo, so I'm looking forward to see what you do with that. I do something for it every year, but it's usually one of those things I put in the drawer and think, I'll work on this later.
I have tried to do it every year for like 20 years, and every year I fail about the 10th day. I just, something happens, and I just...
Well, some friends and I, there were about 5 of us, and we did let's see, how would it be? NaNoWriMo. We decided to do it in a week, but we lowered the word count down to 30,000. And out of the 5, there were 2 of us that finished, and I was one of them. But it's a lot of filler in there, to try to get to that word count in that short a time. But it can be done, even if you only write, 1,000 words a day. That's, the end of a month, you've got a good novelette there going. So 2,000 words a day, you can pass the limit. And that may be a lot for some people, but I'm usually just getting warmed up around the 1,000, 2,000 word mark.
That's nothing for Mia. She just did a 5,000 word description.
Yeah, that's amazing. But it's great to be that prolific, though, that you can just sit down and churn it out, and you always go back and edit it down. It's better to start with too much and pare it down than to start with not enough and have to flesh it out. That's been my experience.
Right,
and tonight we've got Mr. Extremes on here.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Tune in for the stream tonight. Miscast, thanks for joining us here.
Yes.
You've got a lot going on. What's the next thing coming up for you?
It's my pleasure. I just started a channel, Miscast Reads, and I've got a creepy Snow White story on there if anybody wants to check it out.
Check that out. We could pop a link in there, and that's Miscast Reads, which is a separate entity than Miscast Entertainment. And I like the way you're separating it out there. That's cool.
Yeah, I have like sister channels, and they all have different colored M's. So That's my thing.
Okay, good deal. And whatever you do, watch out for Nightbot. He thinks you've got a target on your back, so
Luckily, I patched up my liver, so I'm good for another day.
he
Okay.
may follow you out of here.
Yeah.
He's going to show up ringing your doorbell. He'll be talking to you through Alexa. Alexa's gone. I'm Nightbot.
I'm not God. I would eat your liver.
Go ahead and bring Mysterio and Kenny Dreadful in real quick and let them say hi and goodbye to everybody as we
All right.
march off into the day here.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Mia. You were awesome. Thanks, Steve. You're great, too.
Thank you, sir.
Cass.
Hey guys,
Are
how
you there?
are you? How do
Yeah,
I sound?
Hi.
Hey there.
Am I coming in
How are
clear?
you? Yes, you're coming in very
Yeah,
clear.
we can hear you. Hopefully somebody in the chat will let us know if they can't hear you.
Oh yeah.
But,
absolutely.
thanks again
Thank
for
you.
having me on yet another show, and my guests here from this
Thank
cast
you.
for sitting in with some questions. Had a great time. Yeah, this girl had some technical difficulties, so she'll come back on at another time. I'm going to have her as a guest again. She got cut short last time we were here. But thanks to you guys for all that you do and for putting this
Yeah.
together. Like I like to tell everybody, it's some labor of love for you guys. I
Wow,
want to see you
thanks.
guys succeed and want the thing to grow, and it's a family. You guys are this is almost a ministry you've got going here.
Whoa, thank you, my brother. Thank you so much.
Everybody gets something good from here. You don't walk away from a Dezombified stream
Dezombified rules.
different.
Yes,
than
it does.
you
Holy
came in.
smokes.
Yes.
Each of you are so amazing.
And they are
Thank you. Wow.
Oh my God. Thank you so much.
And also, y'all are having Mr.
Every
Extremes. I'm
word
hoping
is
to hear an
true.
update on his mom because
Mhm.
I know
What back?
there. Last I heard, she was still in the hospital and they were still treating her, but things were looking up, which is good.
Yeah, there was an
Okay.
update, Mr. Extra. There was an
Forward to
update
that
video
tonight,
on his
but-
channel. Go ahead, Dirty.
Yeah.
9 p.m. is that when he's on? 9 p.m. Eastern.
7 p.m. Eastern.
7 p.m.
Eastern tonight.
Yes. 7
Okay.
p.m.
Looking forward to that, Mr. Extremes. All right, guys. Well, I guess that's a wrap then. We'll put the
Bye,
beach
guys.
scene up here.
Bye.
Thanks again to everybody. that was
you.
here.
Thank you.
Mr. Arrow and Kenny.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Mia Mina.
Thanks, Mia. Awesome.
Thank you,
You
guys.
guys have a great one. I'm Steve Stockton, and I am out of here. We'll see you tonight.
Bye.